curiosity about that.
Yeah, because right now I can view the Keller Williams Alabama Gulf Coast.
Yeah, I'll add
Maybe.
you to our private group.
Okay.
You'll see an invite come through in a minute. And that's like where we do our training announcements, things like, you know, people have coming soon listing, like it's just, you know, inside information for the office. So it's a good group to be a part of. Just sent it. If you want to start, Donna.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't know why this computer back here is taking part. Oh, someone else just joined. Yay, people are getting on.
3 of you now. I love that. Checking on my daughter. She's at college and has COVID.
Up in Troy. Poor
Yeah,
thing.
and I haven't checked on her this morning because I didn't want to check too early. And then I got on the phone. So I want to FaceTime her so I can put my eyes on her. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So we have Jackie here, Charles. I'm not sure who ACALL008 is, and then we have Michael. So,
This is April.
I'm sorry.
April Calloway. I'm sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank y'all for plugging into us. So today we're talking about working with buyers. Y'all stop me at any time if you have questions or if you can't hear me or if you have something to add. I want y'all to interact a lot with me. I don't want to just talk this morning. So I'm going to ask y'all questions and just chime in anytime you can. So how many, any of y'all work with a buyer yet?
Mhm.
I'm sorry?
I have.
You have, okay. Charles said, okay. All right, so here with us today, I have a pamphlet of all of the purchase agreement packet. If y'all have that in your blue, in your red, we call it the Keller Williams Bible sometimes, the little guidebook, pull that out so you can refer to it and ask questions as we go along if you have any. So Charles, how many buyers have you worked with? A handful?
Probably right around 10.
Oh, good. Awesome. So first I'm going to ask you, because this is the question I always wonder first, where did you get these buyers?
I got a couple of them off Zillow leads, and then others through, my personal connection, my sphere, as they call it.
Here, yeah. And the Zillow leads you have to pay for, right?
Yeah, yes, and I don't do that no more.
Okay, so you had bought a subscription and they feed you, they call you, or they
Used to you would pay a certain amount for a certain zip code, and then they would send you, at random intervals, they would send you leads. And the reason I quit doing it is because it was, maybe 1 out of 20 would be worth anything. The rest of the time you were filtering through people that really weren't in a position to buy or were just looking at browsing, midnight browsing on the Zillow.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of the everything that's out there. Okay, good. I was just curious because that's where you start is one thing, finding your buyers.
And they were really expensive.
I've heard it's very expensive. Okay. So do y'all have your Ignite packet in front of you? No, that's okay. That's all right. I'm just gonna hit the high points. Do you have that slideshow, the Ignite?
Oh, just a second.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
I've been trying to get this computer.
I know. All right, we'll have that up on the screen here in a few minutes. It's not a big deal at all. It's a great tool, but I'm gonna kind of hit the high points of what you need anyway. You want this?
Yeah, real quick, I'll get it set up.
No, that's okay. No worries. All right, so through your Red Book program here, it kind of got you, and I'm looking, so just, I don't mean to
It's
come
fine.
back to you,
No.
Jackie, holler if you can't hear me.
Nope, everything is fine.
I feel like the speaker's there, so.
Everything is fine, don't worry.
Okay. So just talking a little bit about working with the buyers. You want to make sure you do as you take the time, and it does take time to do as Keller Williams guides you. Get your sphere uploaded in all of your command and all your platforms. Get your social media stuff going. Some people suggest I did immediately make a business account with all of my social media things, but I found that I connected them always anyway, and a lot of people weren't tuning into that. So I really just post stuff on my regular social media, my personal one, because so much of what you want to do is not really related to real estate, so people don't just immediately tune you out anyway. You want to plug in. There's a ratio. It's like, I think 4 or you do several regular posts on just life stuff, fun stuff, interesting stuff, and then you'll do a real estate stuff. And then you can do stuff combining it, but you don't want to just hammer with just real estate. But you just want to put yourself out there and just remind people constantly that you're an agent. Even your family and friends will forget that. And then get your command, your neighborhood watch. If y'all looked at that in command, not yet. There's, all right, let me get in. That's okay.
Why it's.
Michael, April, everybody, have y'all gotten into command yet?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else get into command yet?
I have.
Yes.
I've set up, I put in all my contacts, and I've set up some on the newsletter, like the smart neighborhood.
Yes. Okay, good. So for y'all that aren't familiar with that, command is the system with Keller Williams that you use everything for. And you upload, and Melissa I know Jen will upload your whole sphere into command for you. And then it has a neighborhood watch that it does a quarterly send to everyone, and you put in their neighborhood or neighborhoods that they're interested in, or that they just often go to, like the beach. If they live in Mobile or anywhere here and they like to go to the beach, so put in beach area so they see, and that just kind of gives them an update quarterly of what the market's doing, what all's going on in that area. Just if they're interested in, it educates them more. If they're not interested, you hope that it makes them interested. So use those tools to find your buyers. Any questions on that so far? So it's use your sphere through your Keller Williams tools, your command. You'll use your sphere in all of your social media stuff, and ask your close friends and family if they'll share your stuff, because that reaches out outside of your people. And I actually got a buyer in Spanish Fort off of Facebook. It's the only buyer I've ever gotten off of Facebook, but it was because she knew several people that I know. That's how she chose me over the other thousands of agents around here. So, so ask your people to share, and they want to help you get started. So they'll share stuff for you. Just remind them. So that's how we're going to get started with buyers, is getting it out there, asking people, handing out your business cards when you get business cards. There's the electronic business card that I need to make time to figure out how to do, because then you just say, hey, what's your number? So I can send you my business card. Well, then they've given you permission because they've given you their number. And now you have their contact to put in command, and you can just shoot them messages once in a while. Hey, you know, this is going on in our neighborhood, or hey, the wharf has this festival going on, or whatever that you have interest in and you think your people have interest in, you can just put it out. So
I'm trying to find the.
Oh, that's okay. And we don't, it's okay, Melissa, we've got plenty to work with. So, so follow that guide in your red book, because it guides you on week by week, you know, how to stay on track, and keeping everything going for you to get all your information out to people. Some people will do challenges, and you can challenge each other. Therefore, you can go out in the community, even shopping, going to the grocery store. Now with COVID crazy, it may not be ideal, but otherwise, take cards and say, I've been challenged to give out 100 cards today. And people will take your card just because they're being nice. You know, they may lay it down somewhere, but they may pass it on to someone that they think is interested in buying something. So, you know, just think out of the box, think of different ways you can just be friendly and strike up conversations, get people's contact information, ask how long they've lived in the area, ask if they've thought of moving with low interest rates and all of that. So you just want to be full of knowledge for the buyers that are actively in the market and those that are considering being in the market of buying something. So the Ignite, a lot of it's talking about cultivating your leads into buyer opportunities. So all that we're talking about is really doing that. So what are other ways y'all thought of or heard of that I haven't thrown out there today? There's everything you can think of, you can turn into an opportunity. For me, it was really just getting comfortable because I'm not a salesperson. So asking people for business was very difficult for me. So, you know, it's finding what you need to get over that, get into your comfort zone. So with everything else in life, this is the same thing. Do what you like doing. You know, if you like, if your family, if you go to the ballpark a lot of ball seasons are starting up. So keep that in mind. You know, you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on just marketing stuff to hand out yet, because you got to make money to spend money, right? But you got to spend money to make money. So that's another, another class.
I think the batteries are dying on this. So was this the one that I pulled up?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think the batteries are going to
Probably all I need is the mouse
die.
to just scroll, right?
Yeah, let me share screen again. I
Okay,
apologize.
that's okay. It's all good. So,
There you go.
thank you.
Yeah, and I gotta get batteries.
So if y'all are following the Ignite program here, and if not, just let me know if you have anything to add or questions. And we're gonna go through this. All right, so lead generating for buyers and sellers. Growing the business, listing presentations. I believe the class on listings and working with sellers goes over that. But if you have questions on any of this, ask me. If I don't have an answer, I'll get back to you with an answer. I'll have Melissa get back to you, okay? So we're easy, laid back around here. Making your buyer presentations and getting listings. Preview real estate. All right, so to run your business, you're going to market seller listings, show buyer houses, negotiate contracts. Y'all know all this. Vendor management, that's something else to set a goal to make your vendor list, because you want to market yourself by being just a good tool on if someone is looking at fixer-upper houses and they usually have their own people, but if they're looking for someone, they're new, moving into this area, maybe from Mobile or something, and they're looking, so you just want, the Market Center has vendor list that they'll share. Jen usually gives some of that information in her little orientation class, but just know that's a good tool to have, and I feel like I did not get a listing at a listing appointment the other day because I have a vendor list, but they were minimizing what they wanted to do, fixing up this house. They were just going to paint, they were going to do that themselves, and they were going to redo the floor. They told me they were going to do that themselves. The lady was obligated, she felt so obligated to go with the first agent she talked to because it was a friend of hers. So she used this as an excuse to not use me because this lady had her people that she could line up. She had a vendor list. And I was like, well, I have a vendor list for anything you need. And my whole team, we have a whole vendor list, but it was too late then. So just put that in your hat for the importance. It's the first time that's happened, but that alone may have made her consider me another minute or two. I gave her so much information and value, but she felt obligated. So she used that one little tool that I didn't use as a reason, but you know, it wouldn't have been any different anyway. But I thought, well, doggone, I've got to remember my vendor list just then. So set your goals, set small goals so they're achievable. I am the worst at setting huge goals, you know, saying I want to make 20 calls a day when I'm doing other things and I'm obligated to do other things. You know, 20 calls made, and then I'm feeling awful thinking, oh my gosh, I've got all these extra calls today because I didn't do it yesterday. So do reasonable goals and then do your big goals as well. But always set your goals small and big. Set daily goals, set weekly goals, set monthly goals. Ignite says that you should be getting first appointment scheduled within 2 weeks. And then signing your first contract in 30 days. Just work at it, guys. You know, you got to work hard. You got to set goals. You got to stay focused. You got to be friendly. You got to constantly get comfortable hearing people say no. But, and then this will come. But set your goals. Set your goals on entering more contacts. What the Keller Williams has a, what is the mantra? There's a formula. You add 10 contacts a day, make 20 calls. Anybody else read this? I don't have this in front of me, but it's in your Ignite plans. So, but just stay focused on goals, small, building up to the big ones. The compliance and risk management, as you get stuff, go ahead and enter it into command for compliance. Don't wait until you're in contract. Just enter it as you get it. We're going to go over all of that as far as the contract in a few minutes. Let's see here. All right, so cultivating buyer leads. You find the buyer. We talked about how you work at that. Do y'all have questions or comments on that so far?
No.
No? Charles, you lost Michael, I think. April, any questions?
No, ma'am, not yet. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, and then signing the buyer agreement. So that's what I really want to talk to y'all about. So you remember from school, the first thing you have to do is have them sign your RECAD. And just be real casual about it. It's a law here in Alabama. This is not your rule. This is the law that you have to follow. So they have to sign your RECAD as you're discussing any business. Remember that, everybody?
Yes.
So on the phone, I asked them for their email, and I asked them, I told them I'm going to be sending them 2 documents via DocuSign. If they don't do DocuSign, then you get it to them, or you have it ready. Tell them you'll have it ready when you meet them to show them a house, but they have to sign it for you to represent them. And I tell them that they have to sign this for me to represent them, for me to book the showing time schedule. I mean, the showing in showing time. Have y'all seen showing time yet? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Jackie, showing time is in all of that you get plugged into once you're fully, that's part of the process of getting on board with everything, the showing time. Showing time, you'll want the showing time app. If you don't have the app yet, download the app. I think it's free it comes with your commission membership and everything. And then when you go into the MLS, it's there as a place, but also at every when you pull up a listing, it's there in one of the little, I'm not good with terminology, with technology, guys, you gotta bear with me. The little icon, one of the little options that you click on the listing, showing time. So you can go directly through it through your phone. You can go directly through it on every listing. You can go just to showing time and do multiple listings if you have several MLS numbers or addresses. In showing time, you can do a single showing, or you can do a I lost my word.
Make a route.
You can make it's making a route, and it schedules and it shows you the time in between that you're scheduling, so you know you have enough drive time in between showings. And then you enter your buyer's name and email address, so they are emailed this, so they have it in front of them at all times. That they can plug into it at any time. They're not waiting on you to send them this information. So that's really cool. So you tell them, this RECAD to discuss business, finances, real estate, everything, and also a buyer's agency agreement. It's not a contract, it's an agreement, and it can be canceled as needed because a lot of people are very fearful signing a contract to you because you want to go ahead and date it for a whole year or after closing.
Is that in this packet?
That is in this packet.
What is that one called?
It's like halfway through. It's called the Real Estate Brokerage Service Disclosure. We call it RECAD. And this just explains, y'all read this in your packet if you haven't already. You probably read over it several times in school. Did everybody take school, or did y'all do online classes?
I did online.
Okay. April?
I did classes there with Harry.
Okay, all right. Two that did classes, and Charles, the 2 ladies did classes, Charles did online. So Charles, online, did you spend much time going over this RECAD?
Not so much, a little bit, but every class, it seems that we go over it a lot.
Yes, because it's so important.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am glad of that, because it's my opportunity to get them to sign your buyer's agency agreement. If I went with just the buyer's agency agreement, I would be less comfortable just saying, hey, sign this. Because I'm telling them they do have to sign this real estate, just that they don't have to choose, they just have to sign, and what they're signing is that you have presented this, you have shown them you're an agent and that you can represent them in different ways. So to me, that's my in and saying, hey, I have these two, I have to have you sign for me to schedule showings and everything. So.
What were the two? The
So the one is the RECAD, the Real Estate Brokerage Services Disclosure. And the other is the agency agreement with a buyer.
Hey, Donna.
Yes.
Is that, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is that the buyer disclosure statement? I'm trying to follow through with the package, like the little agreements that I have that came in my little red book. I'm trying to find the one you're talking about right now.
Okay, I don't know where the camera is to show you this,
That's okay.
but it says, real bold on top, it says agency agreement with a buyer. And it's 2 pages.
Okay. Okay, maybe I don't have that one. That's okay.
Okay, you can look in your command. Are you in command yet? I mean,
Yeah.
not command, I'm sorry. So you're in command, so you can look at your,
Okay, and it's titled the same?
yes,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
agency agreement with a buyer.
Perfect, thanks.
And I can ask Melissa to email everyone on this class today, this packet that I have in front of me. So you'll have it in front of you. Does that sound good?
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Uh-huh. So that buyer's agency agreement, do we need to look at the RECAD, or y'all seen it enough with school, right?
Yeah, yeah, I've got that one. Thank you.
So the buyer's agency agreement is actually on top. It's labeled agency agreement with a buyer. I just abbreviate it and say quick buyer's agency agreement. Okay, and it just explains, you're with Keller Williams and you're sole and exclusive agent located, and so it's the terms. You'll put the date of the day they're agreeing to meet or your meeting, and terminating at midnight, and there's another blank. Most people put either 6 months or a year. And then also, Danita has taught us to add to that, say, or after closing. So they're agreeing to work with you. They're agreeing to let you represent them and negotiate for them on whatever they're working at for up to a year. And you just explain to them that this is an agreement, it's not a contract. If anyone needs to cancel it at any time, they have to do that in writing. This is really just to protect you from people agent hopping. And if and this did happen to me one time. I had a buyer, I had shown houses for 2 days, and they decided they might look at new builds. So they went to the little model home and talked to the agent that was sitting there. And that agent actually told this couple that they had to pay double commission if they used both of us, which is a total lie. And she could have gotten a whole lot of trouble for doing that. But they don't pay anything. The seller, the builder, is paying the commission anyway. She was telling them their price would be higher because someone would be paying double commission. Well, that's not true. I had them in this agreement, so if she would have coaxed them into working with her, she would have had to have given me the commission because I have this. That's why this is so important. And also, when they go to for sale by owners, then if you're in, you have this signed and it's within the date, somebody's committed to paying you. The buyer is, because they're in agreement with you. So, and usually you can negotiate that with the seller. A lot of them will work with buyer's agents, especially now because so many people use agents to represent them. So
how is that? you're saying they're obligated to pay you, but yet they can terminate this agreement at any time.
It
So
says,
how-
it says 15 days, but if you're in agreement and they just go to a house, or that like that happened with that one buyer, and that happened, it's in writing here. If they asked to cancel this and then went, well, they could do that, but they would have to live with the, you know, I believe what comes around goes around. I have to remind myself, because there's crazy people out there. There's crazy agents, there's crazy buyers, and there's crazy sellers. So anyway, you know, it's not a true contract, but broker to broker. So if that happened, and it has happened, if it's in date, then you go to Danita, and Danita handles it. She goes to their broker and they handle it. So it's not a contract, but it's a written agreement. So, and I always put on here on number 5, it says compensation to broker. I always put paid by seller, because I'm not asking for the buyer to pay me a percentage. Now, if it's a for sale by owner, sometimes that's negotiated and the buyer and the seller will split that commission. That has happened. And you can work it how you want to, but on this, because buyers, they're sinking money in a house. They don't want to be obligated to pay you money usually. Here they don't. Now, my team leader says back where he's from, they'll actually pay $5,000 for someone that's amazing agent to find them a house and get them in what they want to be in. I don't see that happening here. But so I always just type in, and this is DocuSign I use, or either I write it in the paper form and write paid by seller. Isn't that right, John?
I don't know what you're teaching.
Working with buyers.
Oh, okay.
You want to help me?
What's that? Oh, I gotta go make some phone calls, but I was curious to see what was going on back here. Thank you for teaching it.
Y'all, on Zoom, we have John, the expert here, the kind, caring expert that doesn't mind you calling it with any questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
He did a class yesterday about multiple offers. And I have to ask you a question, because I've asked questions that I understand are unethical to ask.
Okay.
So you all will learn from this, so I'll just ask it now while I've got John. So is it ethical to ask if you have an offer? Have you received any offers yet for the listing agent?
For the buyer's agent to call and ask?
Yes.
Sure, you can ask. Whether they tell you or not, it's a different story.
Okay.
The question is really more, is it ethical for the listing agent to divulge that if the seller has not given
Permission.
him or her permission to do so?
Okay.
So if I was asked that question, because first of all, as a buyer's agent, you ask what you want. And yes, you're supposed to answer honestly, things like that, but that's not something about the house, the detail about the house. Like if you ask, hey, is the roof leaking? And you know the roof's leaking, you're supposed to answer honestly. However, if the seller has told you not to answer that, you're in a quandary, right? Because you have a legal obligation to the seller not to divulge things, and you have a legal license law obligation to answer honestly. That situation, you need to tell the seller, hey, we got a problem here, and if you don't, I know this, and I have to answer honestly, and if you're not gonna let me answer honestly, then I need to withdraw from this.
Yeah.
That's a different answer, but in that situation, that's not about the house, that's just, look, I said, right now, I would just say something like, right now, we're not under contract, and we're taking a look at any offers received. If you have one, we'd like to take a look. And until that seller gives you permission to let you know, because what if your answer was, oh yeah, I've got a couple offers in, and the buyer's agent, then the buyer then turns around and says, I'm not even making an offer because I'm not going to compete. What if that offer would have been the best offer? And you steered it away scared it away. Steering is the wrong word for real estate, sorry. You scared it away because you answered that question without the seller's permission. And if the seller found out about that later, like, oh, hey, this person submitted an offer, and also they didn't. Well, why did they submit an offer? Well, because I told them that you already had a couple offers and they want to compete.
Yeah.
That seller could actually file grievance against you for divulging. They probably wouldn't know that, but they could.
But they could, if they knew.
Yeah.
So sharing that we're not in contract is very different than saying we we have or have not received any offers.
Yes,
That's
because at that point, if it's under contract, you're really kind of obligated to let an agent know if they,
Yes.
like, let's say you have 4 or 5 showings scheduled for this afternoon, but you get an offer in last night, and you love it, you go under contract. At that point, you're kind of obligated, ethically to let everyone know, hey,
Not
this,
waste everyone's
we've
time.
accepted a contract, you need to go ahead and put in MLS, update that under contract. And then you can let the seller can dictate whether he or she wants to let these other showings continue for potential backup offers, or maybe this deal just falls apart because of whatever, so let that see it. Or the seller could say, no, I've shown it 18 times, which is probably not the case these days. I've shown it for 3 weeks, I don't want to show anymore, I'm tired of this, I like this offer, tell them to cancel that. You can cancel the showings. But that's a seller dictated thing, but you should let the buyer's agents know, hey, we're under contract. That's different than having, hey, have you received any offers yet? And I get it asked all the time from agents. And I just say, look, number one, we're not under contract, we're looking at anything at all coming in, but I'm not at liberty to disclose that yet. We'll move forward. If you have an offer, we'll look at it.
Okay.
And a good, serious, seasoned agent should understand that
Yes.
you can't answer that question.
Yeah.
But you're going to get that question from good, seasoned agents anyway, because a lot of agents don't know that they should be telling you that. And because there's a benefit. If you're the buyer's agent or buyer and you know they have no offers versus you know they have 3 offers, but you really want that house, how do you structure your offer? Maybe you go to an escalate, maybe instead of saying, hey, I'll give the list price for this. Oh, I know there's competition, I better go above list price. Your offer, you may restructure your offer because you know there's multiple offers, you may actually bid higher. So that in that case, it actually can help the seller, but seller you can't tell that unless the seller dictates that. And so, or they might go in, the advantage of the buyer is knowing all the information, and you're advantaging that buyer over other buyers because maybe the other buyers didn't know there's multiple offers. Now this one does, and they're able to submit a better offer.
It's sticky.
It does. Yeah, so ultimately your job is to do what's best for the seller. And if you think in this case that it might, hey, look, these people are looking to make an offer, but you already have 2 offers in hand, at this point, you want me to go ahead and tell everybody because it might encourage them either, you already have 2. Do you want me to tell this other one you already have 2? It might make their offer better. You can offer that suggestion. Do you want me to do this? The risk is they may just not even make an offer at all. And it may have been the best offer. So sometimes it's just let them come in and see what happens and then go to your multiple offer deals if they all look similar. But if one stands out way above the other, then you might pick that one and say, okay, let's negotiate with that one. I'm not saying anything to the other 2 yet because I'm not under contract. Yeah, and then this one goes away. Okay, great. No, we don't want it. Then you go to the other 2. But anyway, it's not our decision. We can advise. It's the seller's decision of how to answer those questions. But that was a long answer to a short question. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So do y'all have any questions about this agency agreement with a buyer? The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory. It just explains the term and provision of the agreement. It really is about them giving you permission to represent them and to negotiate for them and their obligation to you as you're working hard to show up and to be dedicated to you as an agent. And then you both sign this and date it. And in DocuSign, it's easy because it has the if you haven't used DocuSign yet, it has the tool to it's just dated. You plug it in there and it's dated when they sign. So, any questions on that? No? Okay. All right, so we're working with qualified buyer leads. That is how we market ourselves to sellers. Is an agent should always be working with a qualified buyer lead. Qualified, willing, and able. That's the thing. You want this in hand. You want their pre-approval letter for a loan of any kind, or if it's a cash deal, you want proof of funds. And some listings, in the listing, it'll say this is required to book it. Some say it's required to submit any offers. And if you do have a hot house or whatever you're selling, or working with buyers to look at, you have to have that in place, because if they do get 3 offers in, they're going to go with the one that already has in front of them the proof, the ability, the proof of the buyer's ability to purchase. Does that make sense? So those are the 2 things you need in addition to have these 2 forms signed. Is you want either proof of funds or pre-qualified buyer. And if they're not pre-qualified, then you say, hey, I've got several lenders I can connect you with, and get permission to connect them. A lot of the lenders have portals on your phone, the app, and you just plug them in. They're each a little differently. They'll guide you on how that works, but you plug in usually it's their email, telephone number, and their full name. And then the lender works directly with them, and then you work with the lender. So you're always connected with that source of funds to know that when you make an offer, like I said, some properties require it even to show it. And I tell people, just because it's easier just to say it across the board and have them go ahead and have everything in place. You don't want to waste your time showing 20 houses when they're not pre-qualified, don't even know if they can get pre-qualified, what the dollar amount is. And I'll share with the buyer, say, look, we need to know exactly what price point you think you're at. We need to know exactly what price point you're able to buy, the facts from the lender. So you get all that right up front as, first conversation with the buyer. So this is,
I'm sorry. I'm
that's
sorry.
good.
Distinction between pre-qualified and pre-approved. Is it?
Pre-approved is like the first step. Pre-qualified is where they actually have everything and they're ready for you to make an offer and to move forward with starting the loan process.
Okay.
They have a little more information. The lender has a little more information to do the pre-qualified. The
Okay.
pre-approved is like
They're
they're,
like verbal, like, oh, I make X amount of dollars, or,
they'll have to send in.
oh, you still have to send in for pre-approval.
Okay. And each lender does a little different. There's one in Mobile, I don't have my notes in front of me. I talked to one, I had an OpCity lead. Have y'all heard of OpCity?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
I had an OpCity lead. This lady, and you'll have a lot of these, like you said, Charles, they don't even have they have the desire, but they have no means to purchase a house. You'll get them from a lot of those lead companies. But so OpCity will connect them with a lender, just like they connect them with an agent, a realtor agent. So when this person was set up with the lender first, and then they got me on the phone. So when I hung up, I called that lender because I hadn't talked to him yet. And I asked, and he said, oh yeah, we actually do the whole pre-qualification. So they're ready to the next day go in and start. If the offer was accepted, they're ready the next day to start the loan process. Does that help? So pre-approval is, I'm talking to a lender, yeah, they can get a loan kind of, but pre-qualification is they have everything they need. They know exactly what the price point is, and they're ready as soon as you get them in contract to actually get the loan going.
Thank you. That's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. All right. So, and then, any ahas? Have y'all heard that statement here from Keller Williams yet? An aha. Okay. Finding buyers. I already said most buyers do go through an agent to handle their business. One thing is easy and it's more secure. We're supposed to know, like I was just asking John, those things, the legality of the do's and don'ts. Not everyone does, not all agents do, but if you're in a situation that they're not doing what they're supposed to do, you can always say, look, my understanding is, you know, we are supposed to be following these rules. And I actually had to tell a seller the other day that we have rules and regulations and laws that we follow, because he was being a hothead about something. So, all right, 41% of the buyers found their agent through a referral program, friends or family. So when you talk to anyone, if they say, no, I'm not interested, you can just say, well, I'd love for you to refer me to anyone that you know that might be considering real estate options. That kind of covers everything. 51% of the buyers visit an open house. I did get my first house buyer from doing an open house. And it was a great house that they ended up going. They didn't buy the house after the open house, but it was an easy one. It was actually funny because she didn't respond, and I knew she wasn't one that wanted to be bothered or pushed at all. So I waited 2 weeks, and then I just reached out to her. And she was like, actually, I was fixing to call you because I have 2 houses I want you to show me. They bought the first house I showed them. That doesn't always happen, but you do find buyers sometimes through open houses. It gets you out there. It's a good marketing tool. This is off subject a little bit, but doing open houses is a great thing as new agents. We kind of quit doing them there for a few months because the market was so hot. Houses weren't on the market long enough to do open houses, but they're starting now. Every weekend I see that there's lots of open houses. So jump on that when you're clear, when you have your business cards and everything ready to go, or just observe with an agent to do one. Until then, you certainly, don't wait for everything to do anything. Go ahead and at least get out there and observe and get a feel of how it's done and what to do and what not to do. So, but the referral thing and then the open houses. All right. Didn't I just do that one? Okay, here we are. Practice, add yourself to the SMART plan. We talked about that. The SMART plan, that's what that is in command. That's what it looks like there, Jackie. And I need to update my SMART plan. I haven't done it in a bit. Everything takes so much time, but you'll get it. What is it? Okay. Qualified buyer leads. Able, ready, and willing to purchase. Able, ready, but not right now, and not ready at all. So we talked about the able, ready, and willing to purchase. Now the able and ready, but not right now. So set them up on that plan we talked about, the neighborhood watch. Maybe they're just considering, and some people will say, well, I don't even know where I want to be. Well, that's okay. Just send them information from all over the place on whatever database source you use. And just stay in touch with them, make reminders. You can do that through command. Call them, send them a message of whatever kind. I'm sorry. Okay, and then the not ready. And just say, that's okay. Please keep my contact information for whenever you are, or to share with anyone you know, because I'd love to help you and everyone you know. So you heard, and I keep telling myself when I get the negatives and the attitudes, because you're going to get them. You can't be sensitive to them. You can't take it personal, and you can't stop at 10 because no one said, okay, help me. So you just have to remember a lot of what we're doing is building relationships and helping people. And that's why I got into real estate. I spent the first 25 years as an adult as a physical therapist. And my husband's like, are you really going to love real estate? Because all you've ever known was helping people. And I was like, that's why I'm doing this, is to help people find the perfect place for their family. So keep that in mind. If they're not ready, just say, let me know. And, you know, when you start thinking about it, you just let me know and we'll help figure it out. So buyer lead sheet. This is probably in your binder. I don't have that. But it's just a little tool, getting information. A role play, that is really important. That is something I am doing with my team at 10:30 tomorrow. I was making sure I'm getting my days mixed up. But anyway, role play. Get with someone, role play with someone that's new, role play with someone that's experienced. It just helps you be comfortable in any situation because you'll see it all. Lots of fun, great people, lots of crazy people, but role play. All right. Sign the buyer agreement. We talked about that. I put this out there right at the beginning, like I said, but let's see if this is anything I didn't go over. And then you ask, so when you're having your first conversation with people, you tell them you're going to send this, you ask, you just tell them, you know, great, love to help you. Make sure, ask this always, are you working with an agent? And if they say yes, say, well, are you in contract with an agent? If they're not in contract, not saying you go and steal people, but you just say, I know I have services that I can help you with, you know. If they are in contract, then, you know, respect that. So that's the first thing you ask, and we haven't talked about that yet today. So remember, on the phone, in person, whatever, at an open house, it's going to be on your little open house sign-in sheet, which you do want to use. I tell people it's necessary because a buyer, if I have a house people coming into, checking out in my closets and everything else, I want, you know, we tell them we're obligated to provide the seller with a list of people in the home just for safety and security reasons. And I think most agents, I know most agents around here do that. It has a place for them to put their information, and also if they have an agent. So, and sometimes they'll say, yeah, because they don't want you to hound them. So you ask, are you in contract with them? And if they say yes, then great. Their agent can take care of them. You don't want to do their agent's job, but you always want to be helpful, because what if their agent leaves the country for something and they're not on a team and they're needing someone? They may come back to you, and you know, you just don't ever know. So always, and even when you get frustrated, I have to remind myself, always hang in there, be kind and polite, because it might come back one day that they say, hey, you gave me more information than my agent did. My buyer's agency agreement's up, and I want you to help me. That has not happened to me yet, but I'm waiting for the day. Because if you're accessible and a good tool, then and you give them, if you're an asset to them and give them lots of information, you know, that's what they want. So, and then the next thing is, what's your timeline? That's where we get to number 2 here, ask for the appointment. What's the timeline? If you're just considering this, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing today. If you're just tossing out ideas and you're not pre-qualified yet, well, you've talked to a lender, but you know, you don't have everything together yet. And you ask, well, what's the timeline? You know, I have someone that I may be showing houses this afternoon. They called yesterday. I was on phone duty. And they called, and she's in town till tomorrow morning. And they're trying to find a place here to move to retire. So she's ready. Her timeline is she can look now. After that, I'll do video calls with her. But so first thing is, are you working with an agent? They say yes. Then you ask, are you in contract with or have you signed with an agent? That's the thing, is if they've signed, they are committed to that agent. And then the second thing is, what's your timeline? When do we want to meet? Do we want to make an appointment for today? And if it's a seller, you always want as soon as possible, say, are you available at 1 o'clock today? Gives you a little bit of time to do your homework before you go. But with buyers, you know, you fill it out. What is your timeline? Are you just tossing around the idea of wanting a beach home? You know, and then you have to make a decision on prioritizing. But the timeline, make an appointment, that's what I'm combining those two there. And consider their schedule, their work schedule. May not see it to the evening or the weekend, so you want to schedule that out and know ahead of time so you can take care of your business and not sit on hold for them. Assess financing needs. We talked about that. Tell them you have to have that book as you're scheduling that. And a lot of times they'll send it on over. If they're serious, then they already have it. They'll just shoot it to your phone from their phone. Easy, easy peasy. Any questions? No. Y'all look at these 4 different things. So that y'all probably join Keller Williams like I did for the tools, for all the help, for all the training. So use your tools, call on people. All right, goals to set for career on fire. This is what I was looking for. All right, the 10 contacts added. This is a day. 10 conversations a day, handwritten notes. That's a lot of notes, 10 in a day. Maybe this is a week. I don't remember. Anyway, home previews per week. Do go ahead and go with agents. Ask. So are y'all all connected to the Facebook Keller Williams private page?
Yes.
Yes.
Just today.
Jackie just got signed up today. All right. So on that, it's Wednesday. So start asking who's doing an open house this weekend. They should already have it in the works because they have to put it out there. They have to do their marketing stuff. They have to get it in the MLS, shoot it out to Zillow and everywhere else so that it's on all of the platforms that there's an open house. If you're available this weekend, put it out there. Say who's doing an open house and I can come and shadow. When you get cards, that agent should split with you. If you, that's the lady I'm meeting with this afternoon. I told her I was in meetings through the morning, but anyway, you know, then also if someone will let you co-host, then, you know, if you have 5 people come through the door, you kind of, whoever greets them makes a connection, then you share your card and your information and all. But anyway, preview homes. And if you want to, go to an open house and preview the home. So you can preview a home by setting a showing. And when you do that, I think it's kind and respectful to go ahead and let that agent know that you're previewing it. You're not coming with a buyer. You're coming to check it out. Because especially with COVID kicking up, I just personally think that's a good thing to do. But you can do it through scheduling a showing, or you can go to open houses to preview homes, and that's. And this may be talking about preview on the MLS. 10 homes, they're not asking you to go see 10 homes. I'm sorry. You do want to do what I just said, but this is talking about preview 10 homes online. So you want to do that. Have all of y'all
Just
got it?
randomly, just pick
Yep.
some and.
Yep. And you can do a search. You can just do, if you want to stay close to your house, then do a search for that area and just look and see what all's there. Do y'all, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Do y'all have the Keller Williams app?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so put that on your list. It's like most now, it's an app with a GPS. So wherever you're at, it puts a blue dot. You can enter an address or an area it focuses on that. But anyway, it shows you the homes that are on the market in that area, and it shows, you know, the little icon with the price point. So that's something, when you're out and about, play with that. I love doing that. When I was in California with my family back a couple months ago, and we would see a house that we were curious about, and especially the ones that were for sale, we would open my app real fast and look at it. So do that. That's a way to preview a home. The home, let me see here. The app, let me find it. HomeSnap app. That's another one. There are different levels of it. I think it's a free one. Then you can do a more advanced one that gives more and sends more and has more tools. But the HomeSnap is one that, it's an app. If you see a house that's on the market, when you're driving by, you can stop, put your phone out and take a picture, or open the app and just put the box on the house, and it pulls that listing up. It's really cool. You can share the HomeSnap app and the KW. You should share the HomeSnap app and the KW app with all your clients. The HomeSnap one actually has them connected to you. So as they're looking at homes, they'll only, you have them set up on that. You invite them to that, add them to your contact in that app. So when they pull up stuff from that app later, your information is there, not other agents. So that's a good tool. The Keller Williams the same way. So share those apps with any and everybody that's looking or considering looking. All right, any questions on that?
Yeah, how does it associate me with them? When I say, hey, get this app, how does that?
You have to enter it. You enter it in the, so once you have this app, does anyone have HomeSnap yet?
I do.
Charles?
Mhm.
Okay, April, you do? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, all right. So, I'll show you, Jackie.
You have it.
You
Yeah,
go to factors and then
What were you saying, April?
There's a place to upload all your information.
okay.
Yes, and if your contacts are in the MLS, they're in this app, right?
In the MLS?
I think it works with your contacts that you've entered in the MLS. Like
Oh,
if
yes. Okay. I see what you're
you
saying.
share something, you've entered their contact information, that
Those two
communicates
are
with
talking
this
to
app,
each other.
yes. If not, you can add it, but those are good tools. And that's another way you can preview homes.
And you would share that with your clients after you're under contract with them?
Yes. Because, and I just use this to help me, because, you know, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not just throwing myself out there. That's just not my comfort zone. I'm more of a friendly, let me help you kind of deal. So, you know, when someone signed it, I'll say, great, I can send you my app. I can share my stuff because they've given you permission to represent them. If you're sharing your stuff, they should commit enough to do that. Okay, lead generate, talk about that, uncover motivations. That's another thing you want to ask the buyers. So there's a list questionnaire in y'all's red binder about buyers. What's the motivation? What's the timeline? What's identify objections? Ask, what are you looking for exactly? Are you, you know, who else moving here? Your whole family, just you and your husband? How many kids do you have? School zone plays a big key. The whole community plays a big key. So you want to get all those details when you're working with buyers, what exactly they're looking for. Otherwise, you'll run you'll run yourself around crazy and they'll get frustrated because you're wasting their time as well. So you want to get all of the details that, you know, that you think of, and there's a list there in that book. Close the deal, speak in terms that they understand, just be down to earth, just talk to them, build confidence. You're just talking to them, you're building confidence by giving them information. And if you don't know, say, hey, I know who to call. And if you don't know anyone to call but Melissa, she'll connect you to someone. You can call me, you can call Danita, you can call anyone. Just say, hey, I'll have an answer, and as soon as I do, I'll shoot it back to you.
And are you gathering all those details again before you're under contract or after you're in contract with them?
After they've signed your buyer's agency
Right.
agreement.
That's when you're collecting all of that information. I guess I'm not sure when you're supposed to do those.
That's a good question. So, for instance, I'm doing phone duty. I tell them I'm sending this to them. I can't do two things at one time. So I'm not sending that yet. I'm getting all this information. And I tell them I'm going to set them up on a search as well. So, and through my team, we have a tool that sends them information as soon as it hits the market. It updates it instantly if you mark it to. So I, tell them I'll set this up, sending you these two things for you to sign. And then I will set this up for you, and I'll let you know when to start looking for it in your email. But in the meantime, you're asking, so you do go ahead and you ask before that, because you've got to have an idea how to move forward with them, what you're even looking at. If it's even in the area that you cover, if they're calling here looking for Pensacola and you're not licensed in Pensacola, you have to, you need these facts to know where to go with them. So you just ask all the timeline. Are you working with an agent first? Remember that. Your timeline. What's your motivation? Are you moving here to be around less people? Because Mobile's really busy and crazy. That gives you an idea of where they want to be or where they don't want to be. Does that help?
Yep.
Do you have if it's a condo complex, do you have pets? Because some allow, some don't. Are you going to plan on renting it? Some allow, some don't. And people will call here phone duty. They'll call, getting information on condos and stuff while they're in town. So you just ask all that information, everything you think of, and get that little list out and use that list. And if you don't have it, ask Jen for it. She'll shoot it to you. Okay? Any questions?
What list did you say, Donna, that Jen will shoot to you? I'm sorry.
There's a buyer's questionnaire. And it's probably in the KW, one of the KW platforms, either KW Connect. I know it's not in Command, either the KW Connect or My KW. It may be in the My KW. I don't remember, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
And if you don't see it, just ask Jen. She'll shoot it to you.
Okay. Just a buyer questionnaire, right?
And it may be in your red book. I want to think it was in my red book. I don't know if they've redone it since then. It could be in my red book. So look in your red book because you may already have it.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. And I'll ask Melissa to email you this packet that she printed up for me, everyone that came here today. And Charles, do you have any questions on the purchase agreement?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
But something that I've used that's been really good on me, it kind of goes with those notes. I can't say exactly how I found it, but I can point them in the right direction. On your Gmail, there's a templates where you can set up pre-saved emails. And then all you got to do is plug in names and contact information. I found a YouTube video on how to do it, but if you like YouTube, Realtor, Gmail templates, and it just saves you time. Like when you get a contact, you know, hey, I can use this template. Just go and plug their name in it and email it to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
I've been using it a lot since I discovered it. I've had Gmail for, 5-6 years and didn't know that was in there.
Is it, may I ask, and the three little dots at the bottom under the more options, building template under there, or?
Yes, there's a
Okay.
template under there, and you build it and then save it.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if they have a limit. I've got 10 different ones saved in there now that I've got set up already. So then as soon
No,
as
I have
I
a
have
question.
contact information, I can just plug in a name and send them an email. And I've got hyperlinks in the emails to my Facebook page, my Twitter, all my social media, my website, all that stuff.
Oh,
And
that's
that's through your Gmail,
Through our Keller Williams Gmail.
our Keller Williams Gmail.
If you open a new message, Donna, and just hit those three dots at the bottom and for more options, it will pull up templates and